we start the session after a gap of, I must say, few months with Mr. Vasant Patwardhan, who has been a regular resource person for us to understand the nuances of English. And today's topic in that journey of learning English, I would say, is a must watch, because redundancy, as we say, that we can avoid. Redundancy, as we all know, like in Hindi, na kaam ka. And what could be that process and journey which you feel actually we can do away with it. Mr. Vasant can explain. Like in normal, as a common parlance of law, we say null and void. Does it fall within the trappings of redundancy? Because null would again mean the same thing, and void would also again mean to say the same thing. And then we again write in law illegal and arbitrary. The trappings of the two words and the interplay of the two words is within that. And when we do sessions with Mr. Vasant, the most fascinating part is the interplay of English and Hindi, so that he actually nails the hammer in the right way. He hammers the nail in the right direction. And we thank you that Mr. Vasant, today, this time, he's for the first time doing his session from Mumbai rather than from Bangalore. Over to you, Mr. Vasant.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all of you. So, today, as Vikash was telling you, that we are on a special mission again. We started long back a series of lectures like this regarding polishing English or polishing English grammar, English language as a whole. So you can count this also as a part of this, because when we say redundancy, and by the virtue of the speaker's qualification, which is mentioned in the ad, you may feel it rightly rather that it must be concerned something to the industrial field or the management field, where redundancy plays a very great role. Nevertheless, redundancy has a place and importance in English language also. Less spoken, maybe because we try to avoid. Usually, we try to resist the things which we don't like, which hampers our progress or say our flow of language. So it doesn't mean that the subject doesn't exist or it has got any less importance than any other topics of nuances of English grammar. Redundancy, as the word goes, redundant or redundancy being a noun, is, you can count like, as a layman, we can say it is like a spare, extra. Like we keep a spare wheel in our four-wheelers or so. But there we are very careful that we keep it as a spare only. We never run our four-wheeler with 5 wheels. Is it not? So, but in language, though we know that certain words, certain expressions are redundant, they are so, correct in our usage that we are unable, rather, to avoid those usages. That's why we have rightly decided that redundancy we can avoid. Means there requires a deliberate attempt and understanding to avoid this. Let me give you a glimpse of what exactly the grammar book says regarding redundancy. They say, in a flow of writing, they mean in a flow of writing or usage of the language, we tend to use extra words which are neither required nor called for. Such a word or words are called redundant words. And such process is called, means usage is called redundancy. They are to be watched Please watch the word they have used. They are to be watched, means seen carefully, observed, and avoided. There is a caution also given in the grammar book. So, these extra words which are being used by all of us are maybe out of our innocence. But innocence don't match the adults. It becomes ignorance. We start ignoring the things. Or the next stage is we imitate a person blindly. We imitate something blindly. That's why we use it. We don't bother while using such things. We see something new in that. We see something different in the usage and we start using that. Just now, sir told an example of that, null and void. It is widely used and it is there in the grammar book itself as a phrase, especially in the our literary phrases of legal book. It is there in the dictionary of legal book, null and void, and we use in and out. So, to start with the subject, so that I can put the matter in a right context. The other day I was listening to a lecture on a Kannada literary giant of 20th century, Sri D.V. Gundappa. He is very lovingly called as or remembered as DVG. He is really a literary giant. He got the highest award, Jnanapith Prashasti, which what we call it as, for his literary works. And he was sitting in an institute founded by him, nurtured by him, which is in Bangalore and called Gokhale Institute, in a deep thought. बड़े गहन विचार में डूबे थे और एकाएक उनके मुंह से एक मतलब he burst out saying that मुझे आज पता चला कि भगवान कहाँ नहीं है. So everybody was adoring him, looking up to him, and ऐसी बातें सुन करके तो हैरान रह गए क्योंकि उन्होंने गीता के ऊपर भाष्य लिखा है, उसके लिए उसको ज्ञानपीठ प्रशस्ति मिली है. तो अचरज में आ गए सब लोग कि भगवान कहाँ नहीं है, इनको पता चल गया. And to make the things lighter, he told in a lighter mood, भगवान तर्क में नहीं है. Bhagwan doesn't lie, exist in logic. And he kept quiet. After listening to these words uttered by him, it may be a week's back, I heard this. Still, I am, trying very hard to digest it actually. What did he say? So, when I was preparing for this subject, I could draw parallels to that. Redundancy or redundant words cannot exist and do not have a place in logic. If you think logically, you will feel and you will come to know that all these things which we have been using continuously are baseless, are useless words. But I have a disclaimer to make that after going through this lecture, you may enter into a mood or tendency or develop a tendency to doubt each and every phrase, each and every sentence you construct to speak or write before uttering it or putting it on paper. You may get doubt on your own self at this stage of life when you are well versed with the usage of English language. I personally, throughout my these preparatory days, I have come across this. I have felt this today itself. In the afternoon, I was taking a class to one of my batches, the offline batch. I something told, you can write this or else. Or else is a redundant word because or and else mean the same. But we are, as I told you, using regularly. We do not, we rather never say or, we never say else. We always use or else. You make it comfortable to join the class live, or else I shall send you the recording. I was about to type and I stopped because she may laugh. He is talking of redundancy and using it here. This is the threat, what I am telling you, which I am undergoing nowadays. It is very difficult because thinking logically to each and every phrase before using it makes the life difficult, really difficult. So, at this point of time, see again, at this point of time, it is a redundant word. And believe me, if you go to ChatGPT or any of the AI tools like Meta and all, and if you put and ask, they will ruthlessly give you the answers that these are redundant, you are wrong. They will ruthlessly point out, and that increases the tension of usage. But being innocent or choosing to be ignorant is not a healthy trend. As Swami Vivekananda used to tell, life is a journey from imperfection to perfection. And further he told, it is realizing the perfection which is already within ourselves. So let us try to move ahead and see what are all those things, what are all those grammatical nuances where we are using it and we are committing mistakes. If we take in a right sense sportively, yes, they are mistakes. And they are taken very seriously for all UPSC-like examinations where the personality is tested. They say that we do not have a proper command over our language. There, the marks are being deducted for redundancy. So if that is so important, let us see what redundancy is and what are all those words. I shall give you some of the examples which we normally use, and we are in a habit of using those wrong words and phrases. And I shall give you some logic also wherever they are there. Okay, grammar has made it efforts. It has made it efforts to stop us from redundancy, but it has not touched all those points. It has got some rules. To give you an example, when we write, when we learn rather, direct, indirect, I say, teacher said to his students, into inverted commas, and a sentence would be there. When I convert it to indirect, I say, teacher told his students. I never say told to his students, except said. Whatever I use, teacher ordered his students, teacher told his students, teacher asked his students. I never use the preposition to along with this. If somebody is using it, it is a wrong, it is a mistake what we are doing. Why it has been prohibited? It has been prohibited. It is given in the grammar book that the words other than said, like told, asked, ordered, requested, should not be followed with a preposition to. But they have not given the proper reason. It is because redundancies creeps in if you use to, because said is a word which is directionless. It requires a preposition to show the direction. Said to whom? Teacher said to. It is pointing towards the next noun students, showing the direction. This way, he is speaking to. But when I say teacher told or teacher asked, these told and asked, the words or the phrase in verbs themselves have the direction inherent within themselves. The to is there inside. Again, using a to, the grammar book, restricts you. That's what I was telling you. It has touched some of the points, but it has not touched all. But you will see, it will rather mesmerize you. That's why I just posed a disclaimer. Really, it brings a psychological guilt, but can't avoid it. Redundancy, we can avoid by going further. We have got let me start with the normal things. Usually we say, fill the glass fully. We try to differentiate between empty and more empty, full and more full. But there is some hint in the grammar book, or say the grammarian's hint, that these are all absolute adjectives. Empty, full, absolute, dead rather. He is a dead person, it is a dead ball. But still, we insist upon telling more dead, more empty, more full. No. This is because when we say empty, the bucket or a jug should not have a drop of its contents, milk or say water. Then what is emptier or more empty? Why are we using it? It is an absolute adjective. This much the book implies you. This much the book hints you, guides you. But where it doesn't is our colloquial language is fill the glass fully. Somebody is going for filling up his bottle. I give my bottle and say, fill the glass fully, please. Means fill itself is bringing up to the neck. Then what do you mean by fully? This fully is an redundant word. It is to be avoided. Can't we avoid this? Definitely. Fill the glass, fill the bottle. It's enough. Then, usually, we use the word together, ikata, together, with many of our verbs like merged together, stitched together, pasted together. It is not required. When it is merged, something is coming together only, then only we are saying merged. Merged together is not required. It is a redundant word. It is merged with so and so. It is merged together, then we say so and so. It is not required. Right. We use again in many again. Wherever we use repeat. How many times we say in a day? Repeat again, please. Re itself is telling to tell once more. What do you mean by repeat again? So, these are all the common things which I was telling. Don't you feel it is threatening? If you start logically thinking, you may stop somewhere. Sometimes I have just chosen some random things. I want to write autobiography of myself or my life. Autobiography, auto word itself says it is on your own life. I want to write an autobiography is enough. Autobiography on my life is a wrong thing. Then let us see how many else are there. I am starting with those where we can straight away point out, we feel we can avoid. I am starting from that, and the difficulty increases. It is in the increasing order rather. There is a very common word, say, consists of. Water consists of hydrogen and oxygen. There is a parallel word called comprises. Comprise. That's also a verb. And we straight away shoot water comprises of. The word comprise includes, consists of. It is a synonym of that whole phrase. Both consist and of are there. In comprise, you need not to put, or you should not put rather, of after comprise. It comprises hydrogen and oxygen. How many of us are aware or take care? That's what I was telling you, that sometimes it settles. Let me read out some sentences for you. I saw the boy and my sister both in the garden. I saw the boy and my sister both in the garden. Both is not required. Both is a pronoun used where two things or two items or people are there. The next, if both is a pronoun. In the first sentence, you should say, I saw the boy and my sister in the garden. Both were in a jolly mood. Both is used, should be used there in place of again using the boy and my sister. But we use along with that. Next, he went to Kashmir and returned back. Again, re and back. As I told you, re and again, repeat again, returned back. So, unknowingly we use back with a return. Return back my money. He returned back from Kashmir. Return itself is coming back. This is redundancy. And if we are a bit careful, we can avoid it. The word again, repeat again, restored again, or restored back. Wherever re is there, we should avoid all these, words like back or again. They are not required because re itself speaks that. Then there are many words we use: refute, reply, whichever word is starting with re, repay, right? Refute, revert. Then, now, we need not worry much about the subject matter of this talk, as it has been extracted from Vedas. See, subject matter, how many times we use on daily basis? I have just chosen a sentence. I have picked up a sentence. Subject matter is a common. Subject and matter both are same. I have picked up this matter, or say either, or I have picked up the subject. What is the subject matter? As I told you, ये हमारे अभी तो कह सकते हैं कि रग में घूम रहा है. इसको इससे पल्ला झाड़ना बड़ा मुश्किल है. इसलिए मैं कह रहा था पहले ही, अगर इसको सुनेंगे, आगे तक बढ़ेंगे तो मुश्किल हो जाएगी, कहीं खड़े हो जाएंगे आप. अरे बाप रे, ऐसा है क्या? ये सोचने पे मजबूर कर देगा और आगे बढ़ने में तकलीफ देगा, ये बांध लेगा हम. So, see, discuss about, we vouch it is correct. Discuss about. That's why I told logic. Logic is something that creates the maximum fight, that creates the maximum controversy. And redundancy is a, you can say logic, of course, but a common knowledge, common sense rather. When I say we discussed about, it is talk about which is inculcated or which is taken out and replaced by discussed. You need not to push discussed about again. If you say talk, then say talk about. If you are using discuss, we discussed the matter, maybe in length. Discussed about the matter is a common phrase which we use, which we teach rather. Then, they followed after me. I would try to touch the very important one rather. I was very ill. I was very ill every day of my life last week. You can be ill of your life only. I cannot be ill of somebody's life. So, I want to hint you towards the logic in which we have to think to avoid redundancies. If you are using something like this, if you are in a, I can't say it is a habit. We are using it. Now it is a deliberate effort to avoid it. This is the sum and substance of the story. This is the sum and substance of the case. What do you mean by sum and substance? We treat it as a phrase. Many grammar books treat it as a phrase. Sum and substance are the same. Like subject matter, sum and substance. The other day, somebody was asking me, may come also here while I am progressing with this. What do you mean by fore and foremost? Sorry, first and foremost. First and foremost. First and foremost is, we utter this, we use this. There is a word called fore, an adjective. The superlative, it is foremost and first. Both are the superlatives of the same adjective fore, as per the situation. They are redundancies, they are synonyms to each other. But we use it. First and foremost thing is to follow the rules of land. Many things go like this. Basically, what I want to tell you is a common phrase. What do you mean by basically? Can't we avoid that word and say, I want to tell you? So many words will, you may stumble upon so many words from now onwards. See, fell down from the top of the house, fell down from the ladder. Fall is coming down only or going down only. Fall is, you can't climb with using the word fall. Fall is meant to express that you are down on the earth. Fall down. We use the word down. And as I told you, because nowadays it is very easy to find out. You can trust also the chat GPTs and the other AI tools. They ruthlessly tell you, no. If you are using like this, it is redundant. Then, as I told you, along with the we use so many phrases. Nothing else. We say nothing else, as I told you, or else, nothing else. Nothing else is important than this. Why you say nothing else? Say nothing is important than this. What part else is playing? Have you ever inquired? If we inquire and think logically, we can avoid redundancy. Now, my brother was tallest of all the brothers. The superlatives are meant to say श्रेष्ठ जिसको कहते हैं, जो भी एडजेक्टिव लगाते हैं गुणवाचक शब्द, उसका जो श्रेष्ठतम है, तभी हम आते हैं सुपरलेटिव में. Richest, tallest. He is richest among all the businessmen. All की जरूरत नहीं है. He is the richest businessman. इतना कहना ही है कि सारे बिजनेसमैनों से ये ज्यादा रिच है. इसका मीनिंग आ गया. ये ऑल कहां से फिर डाल रहे हैं? सुपरलेटिव यूज करते वक्त देखना कहीं हम ऐसे रिडंडेंट वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं क्या, विच इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, विच इज नॉट, मतलब जिनकी अपेक्षा नहीं की जाती है. और अपेक्षा नहीं की जाती है बड़ा साधु शब्द है. When we talk of exams, especially the competitive exams of higher order, rather, they are treated as, your mistakes. Those will be treated as your weakness. Now, if it is true, then the condition is really pitiful. Let us leave this because it is a conditional clause. Logic may defer you to accept. He always comes every Saturday. He always comes, or he always came every Saturday to my home. Every and always. If he is coming on every Saturday, say he comes every Saturday. He always comes on Saturdays. Why both always and every? Right? Then there is a very commonest rather phrase. I am sacked by my boss. I am sacked. This I am sacked, because I shall elaborate to you regarding this. This is in passive voice actually. I am sacked. मैं निकाला गया, मैं काम से निकाला गया. फिर कहेंगे मैं काम से मेरे साहेब द्वारा या बॉस के द्वारा निकाला गया. बॉस के अलावा कौन निकाल सकता है? क्यों डाल रहे हो? पैसिव करने का एक मकसद ये है कि आप इससे पल्ला झाड़ लो कि किससे क्या हुआ करके. It is rather should be said, I am sacked. That's enough. Who else can sack you? Only your boss or the appointing authority. I am appointed by the district judge. District judge alone can appoint when the jobs are of district level nature. I am appointed is enough. Otherwise, they would have told, no, district judge has appointed so and so. They say he has been appointed. Because they want to avoid redundancy. That's why the expression has come. That's why that the existence of passive voice is there. See, we many a time say added bonus. I shall explain because this is a main thing, rather where grammar supports redundancy or cautions redundancy in a very silent mode. I shall come back to that. We say added bonus. Bonus is added only. It is out of your salary. Then free gift. How many times we use? There is a free gift. Gifts are always free. But we use and we don't feel also while using that we are doing something wrong. We say advance planning is very much required. Advance planning, advance reservation, advance warning, advance preview. The planning, reservation, warning, preview are all the jobs done well in advance. Then only those jobs are called preview or reservation. Advance planning. Planning is always advanced. The future is planned today. That's why it is called planning. See the subtle thing involved in that. Then we say past history past history of this person or previous history. History itself is previous. History itself is a story of the past. How can we write past history? And we don't feel as I told you, they pinch more because at this age, I am selecting the subject after using this throughout. That is a pain. So if the youngsters are benefited by this, I feel blessed. My job is done. Then, as I told you, some adjectives are there which are called absolute, means they are at the peak in the beginning itself. Like completely eliminated. Eliminate itself is removing something from the root. What do you mean by completely eliminated? Completely destroyed. He is fully surrounded. He is entirely submerged. He is fully submerged. Submerged is when you go below the water level, that is submerged. What do you mean by fully submerged? Just see. My effort is to draw your attention to this point. Just see what we have been using. You may find it in a very good novel also, written by a renowned writer, author. But you can't deny logic. We say basic essentials, burning fire, armed gunman, collaborate together, right? What is the current status? We normally use this. What is the current status? Status is always the present one. Your present position is called the status. But we still say current status of my reservation is so and so. Right? So, what is the end result of this? End result? Result always comes in the end. What is the end of this, or say what is the result of this? What do you mean by end result? Then even they go to the extent of telling large in size is wrong. It is very large in size. Large is used to describe size only. Why you want to utter again in size? In size is redundant here. It is large. That's all. Large in size is wrong. I mean, it is redundant. And we can definitely say it is wrong. Now, new innovation, old adage, old history, ओपन ट्रेंच, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना खुला आसमां हिंदी में, क्या खुला आसमां? आसमां कभी डब्बे में बंद हो सकता है? आसमां खुला ही रहता है, लेकिन एक अलंकारिक भाषा का है उधर. फिर भी मैं थोड़ा सा उसमें कंसेशन ढूंढता हूं, क्योंकि बहुत बुरा लगता है सब कुछ ही अगर मिटा दो तो. खुला आसमां फिर भी ठीक है, क्योंकि एक अलंकारिक भाषा है, शेरो शायरी में इस्तेमाल किया जाता है कहने के लिए कि खुले आसमान में उड़ान भरना है, ऐसे वैसे. आसमान खुला ही रहता है अदरवाइज. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय ओपन स्काई? ओपन ट्रेंच. ट्रेंच इज नॉट अ ट्यूब. ट्रेंच इज ऑलवेज ए गड्ढा, अ पिट विच इज ओपन. हम फिर भी कहते हैं ओपन ट्रेंच. देन और मैं आपको उस इस पे ले जाना चाहता हूं वेयर वेरी you will find them, as I told you, very important thing is passive voice. Passive voice and active voice are the two important topics of grammar. One of the conditions of passive voice is to hide, or it is directed that we should use passive voice when the doer, जिसको हम कर्तृ कहते हैं, वो अननोन है या फुल्ली नोन है, दोनों कंडीशन में हमें उसको यूज करना है. दे advise us not to say someone picked my pocket. ये somebody picked my pocket are all लो कैटेगरी में आते हैं इंग्लिश में. वो कहते हैं कि my pocket has been picked. अगेन अगर आप लगाओगे by someone, वो रिडंडेंट बन जाता है. इसको अवॉइड करने के लिए हम इसको पैसिव किए कि कर्म को कर्तृ के जगह पे ले आए. यू हैव बीन, आई मीन माय पॉकेट हैज बीन पिक्ड. जैसे हम अपने लेटरों में लिखते हैं, यू आर हियर बाय रिक्वेस्टेड. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दैट? व्हाई कांट यू राइट आई रिक्वेस्ट यू? देयर इज अ सेंटेंस. और हम थोड़ा सा जहां मस्का वगैरह मारना है ना, हम लिखते हैं डेलिबरेटली. छुट्टी विट्टी की एप्लीकेशन डालनी हो, बॉस को खुश करने के लिए हम लिखते हैं आई रिक्वेस्ट यू टू काइंडली सैंक्शन माई लीव. लेकिन ग्रामर कहता है कि जो नीचे साइन करते हैं वही तो लिख सकता है, उसी की तो छुट्टी की है. फिर क्या है आई रिक्वेस्ट यू? लिखो यू आर हियर बाय रिक्वेस्टेड टू लुक इनटू द मैटर पर्सनली. यू आर हियर बाय रिक्वेस्टेड. ये इस आई को रिडंडेंट बनाने के लिए या रिडंडेंट है करके रिकॉग्नाइज करने के लिए पैसिव वॉइस बनाए गए हैं. बड़े मजेदार एक सेंटेंस है, मैं उसके तरफ आपका ध्यान खींचना चाहता हूं. ये जो बर्थ की बात होती है ना, आज क्या तारीख है? अक्टूबर 2 या तो महात्मा गांधी जी की पुण्यतिथि में बर्थ डेट है. इसको हम कैसे कहते हैं? किसी का भी बर्थ हो, उसे महात्मा गांधी जी वॉज बॉर्न ऑन 2 अक्टूबर. ये क्या सेंटेंस है? इसका जरा टेंस समझना. महात्मा गांधी जी वॉज बॉर्न. जब भी वॉज आता है, इट शुड बी समथिंग विथ आईएनजी. As the sentence is in passive voice, the rules of passive voice has brought it to this condition. Was born, because वहां to be verb लगते हैं, helping verb, और main verb हमेशा V3 में रहता है. और हम सब कहते हैं I was born on so and so date. महात्मा गांधी जी. क्यों नहीं हम कह रहे हैं? उल्टा कभी देखा आपने किसी के बर्थ डेट पे ऐसा क्यों नहीं कहा जाता है? बिकॉज द जो शब्द इस्तेमाल किया ना वर्ब, वहां BEAR बेर करके शब्द है. बेर, बोर, एक है बोर्न BORN जो हम एयरबोर्न में इस्तेमाल करते हैं. एक है बेर, बोर, बॉर्न. उसका V3 है वो बॉर्न. बेर का एक मीनिंग तो होता है सहन करना, एक मीनिंग तो होता है उड़ान भरना. जब वो एरोप्लेन के बारे में बात करते हैं, मतलब जमीन छोड़ना. और एक होता है टू डिलीवर, जन्म देना. ये बेर का मीनिंग है. तो उसके जो थर्ड फॉर्म है बॉर्न, हम उसको इस्तेमाल करते हैं और हमेशा पैसिव वॉइस में रहते हैं, क्योंकि हमें एक मतलब इट इज अ यूनिवर्सल ट्रुथ कि कौन पैदा कर सकता है? अपनी अपनी माताएं पैदा कर सकती है. इट इज nonsense to say rather my mother gave birth to me, my mother bore me on so and so date. No. और क्या हो सकता है इसके अलावा? Means the grammar says it is fully known. When it is fully known like this, you should always stick to passive voice because it is a redundant word. When it is fully known, don't use that. इसलिए हम कहते हैं I was born, महात्मा गांधी was born on so and so day. हमने कभी नहीं सोचा होगा कि ये बॉर्न ऐसा क्यों कहते हैं, है ना? जस्ट सी. नहीं तो पैसिव वॉइस का जो एक पूरा वाक्य बनता है, जैसे आई ईट अ फ्रूट. अगर इसको पैसिव बनाना है मुझे, फ्रूट इज ईटन बाय मी, बाय लगाना पड़ता है उधर, बाय मी करके, तभी पूरा बनता है. लेकिन ऐसे केसों में Jahan we are intentionally using passive voice to avoid redundancy, we say I was born on. So ऐसे चीजें जो हैं थोड़े अंदर जाने से we get that taste, उसका रस निकलता है ना, उसका अर्थ होने लगता है. You know, as I told you, it is a journey from imperfection to perfection. यही है. भले 60 साल बाद पता चले क्या उसमें क्या है, आगे तो नहीं सोचेंगे करने से पहले. ये नहीं हम कह सकते कि आज से बिल्कुल बंद कर दूंगा या आई कैन अवॉइड, बट डेफिनेटली इफ आई ट्राई आई कैन अवॉइड. यूअर्स एक शब्द है, देखिए यूअर्स हर लेटर में हम देखते हैं YOURS. यू के जो फॉर्म है प्रोनाउन के, यू, यूअर, यू अगेन, देन यूअर्स. दिस कार इज यूअर्स, YOURS. लेकिन हम जब लिखते हैं यूअर्स फेथफुली, most of us, I see, YOUR apostrophe S लगाते हैं. Apostrophe is redundant if you write that, because it is used with the nouns where that type of arrangement is not there to show the possession. Rama's shirt, RAMA apostrophe S. लेकिन यहाँ शब्द है आपके पास yours करके, फिर वहां एक हम apostrophe देते हैं, और एक बार देते हैं तो as I told you, imitation सारे देने लगते हैं, और कोई बड़ा दे दिया तो खत्म, हमें तो अथॉरिटी मिल जाती है, साहब ने लिखा है लिखो. तो ये बातें हैं जो लैंग्वेज में हमें ध्यान रखना है. सो इट्स अ टाइम फॉर मी टू कंक्लूड, एंड आई कंक्लूड अगेन बैक विद द सेम आवर renowned literary giant D.V. Gundappa, what he said. अगर भगवान कहीं नहीं रहते हैं, जो ओमिनिसेंट है, हर जगह है, वो कहीं नहीं रहते हैं, तो लॉजिक में नहीं रहते हैं. तर्क करोगे भगवान जी नहीं मिलेंगे. तो भगवान जी के बारे में हम तर्क न करके, मैं चाहता हूं कि हम रिडंडेंसी के बारे में जरूर तर्क करें. ये हमें बहुत अनवांटेड शब्द, आजकल तो कंप्यूटर का युग है. एवरी बिट, एवरी वर्ड इज काउंटेड इन बिट्स, कैरेक्टर्स. और अगर कोई ट्रांसलेशन वगैरह करना बैठा है तो पैसा कमा लेगा रिडंडेंट वर्ड डाल डाल के, क्योंकि शब्द के ऊपर अगर कोई पेमेंट करता है तो इसके शब्द बढ़ जाएंगे. सो लेट अस बी वेरी कॉशियस now onwards and see that if we can, we should avoid redundancy. Thank you one and all. Back to you, sir.
So Vasantji, as usual, the session was self-explanatory, and it was good to connect with you after such a long time, and people will keep on waiting to understand the nuances, especially for the entrance examination and otherwise also. Thank you. Stay blessed. Namaskar.